Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the final breaking through the super armor event challenge. So this is the versus int and this is the final one that we have to do. Obviously your goal is to build a physical type team, and as a full disclaimer, obviously this event relies on you using units that are either movie boss or movie heroes so that you can incur the highest advantageous damage. If you do not have movie bosses or movie heroes, then you want to prioritize the typing. The typing is very important all the way through. You need to have a physical type team, because these guards or these cycloptic guards have huge damage reduction. So the premise of this team is very simple. Essentially what we do is there's two ways to go about it. So the easiest way is for the perfect cell, to get an additional super, and essentially you finish off each and every stage. Because his 12 key is an AoE, if you get every single, not every single turn, you don't need it every single turn, but if you manage to get an AoE super in the final turn, then you've won the whole fight. If you cannot do this, your best bet is actually to have the physical final form cooler. He's a fantastic option. Have physical final form cooler, a Omega Shenron, and then another physical final form cooler arrive in your final turn. That's going to be your best bet. Everything else is kind of not really too relevant. So highly advised that you basically kind of proceed with this notion of trying to organize the final form coolers and Omega Shenron to enter the last phase. You can technically do this with 2 Omega Shenrons. It is also possible. You just need to make sure that when you use your orb changing items for the final phase, the Dbz cookie, that you essentially get these guys to that you basically get them to on principle have the most orbs, because Omega Shenron will be non-advantageous. He won't have the boost that movie heroes have, so you really want to try and get him to essentially have as much of an attack boost as possible, so that he can obviously cause some pretty huge damage. Now, is it easier to run a double perfect cell? It's not really, unless you can find a rainbow perfect cell, or you have a perfect cell and you've given them additional equipment. The big thing with perfect cell is that his build kind of screams crit, but to complete this event you need people to have built him with additional. Now you do have luck that he's got a bit of built-in additional from being a physical type unit, but generally speaking it's not really the best way to go. So it's very unusual to find people that have prioritized the additional on him. It will obviously, like I say, it will help you out, but generally speaking that's not actually what people want to build. So it's very unusual to find that, which means when you're trying to use him to clear the final stage, you can end up running it a couple times, kind of praying for an additional super attack, when in reality the chances of that are incredibly slim. So otherwise everything's pretty straightforward, if I'm entirely honest. There's nothing too crazy. Obviously in terms of the items, you can see we're using a Bulma item, and we're also using the Dbz cookie, so that we can obviously change the orbs for the final phase. Now again, the orb changing doesn't really help Cell, because obviously Cell, you need his 12 key to do the AoE. So if you pick up a whole bunch of orbs with him, you're going to be doing the 18 key, and you're basically going to have a very bad time. So the whole 12 orbs, 12 key thing is also kind of a hindrance. That's why he's very different to using the AGL Martian Vegeta. When you use AGL Martian Vegeta, his AoE attack is on his 18 key. So using him is a lot easier because changing a whole bunch of orbs and just giving them to him guarantees you the AoE, thus meaning you can really beef up that singular AoE. That's why you kind of have to rely on the additionals, because without the additionals, you generally speaking don't have that great a time in obviously taking out the opposition. Now we get a little bit lucky here, and by a little bit I mean we get lucky because we have our perfect cell proc double super attacks, which is a huge thing because obviously it enables us to basically finish the fight. Now obviously as well, you also want to factor in things like big bad bosses. You want to factor in quite a few techniques, I would say, to see just how well you can kind of do in this event. But yeah, it is quite challenging. You will rely on a little bit of luck. I mean, you can see here, we are on the final rotation. The only real way that we win this is with a double super from Perfect Cell, or we get the best rotation possible with additional attacks. So Cell, double supers, or we get Final Form Cooler to literally throw 3 super attacks, and we get Broly, Chila, and Lemmo to throw 3 super attacks, which is not really possible. Well, sorry, 2 super attacks is not really likely, especially considering that I built them all crit as they're meant to be. But it's it's obviously just entirely up to how you do things. You can see here I'm trying my best not to get the whole 18 key. I'm really trying to get the 12 key so that we can obviously have the chance at the double super. You can see that Final Form Cooler actually does a really good job. He takes out 2. That's why the Omega Shinron double Final Form Cooler turn works, or the Final Form Cooler double Omega Shinron turn works, because chances are they're going to at least fire 1 more additional attack. So you can just get them to basically kill with 1 super. They fire off their second super, they'll kill again as well. So you have a chance for 6 super attacks. Generally leaves you quite favorable. We get lucky, we get the double additional, we get the additional AoE, which obviously makes things look very easy. But in reality, it's quite a low percentage play. Generally speaking, you want to run a similar lineup to this, but if possible, you want to rather use, not use Perfect Cell, but you want to rather have a rotation that's more Final Form Cooler, Omega Shenron, and maybe another Final Form Cooler or a Janemba, someone who will end a unit in 1 attack. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's everything you need to know, and that is the final one. So good luck, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.